Dennis Gilbert is a former sports agent and baseball executive. He is the co-founder of Beverly Hills Sports Council, a sports agency that has represented numerous professional baseball players. Dennis Gilbert excelled at developing life insurance policies and creating wealth protection, and he knew these skills would help baseball players achieve better financial success. It didn't take him long to become baseball's top agent, ultimately transforming the salary structure of professional baseball players forever.
Center field, back goes Soto to the warning track. He runs it down.
Dennis Gilbert combines his passion for baseball and community as the co-founder and chairman of the Professional Baseball Scouts Foundation, an organization devoted to helping scouts and their families who have fallen on hard times. He has helped the Scouts Foundation raise over $1 million. One of baseball's leading agents ever, Gilbert set new standards for creating players' contracts. He personally negotiated over 1,000 contracts, broke salary barriers, and achieved unprecedented contractual success for players such as George Brett, Jose Canseco, Bobby Bonilla, Barry Bonds, Mike Piazza, Curt Schilling, and many more.
Welcome to Larry King Now. Today's guest, the CEO and founder of the Gilbert Group, Dennis Gilbert. He's my personal friend, a great guy, and he specializes in developing life insurance policies and wealth protection for a resume of clients in sports, entertainment, and business. He also made his mark on Major League Baseball, negotiating over 1,000 contracts for players like Bobby Bonilla and Barry Bonds, Jose Canseco, and Mike Piazza. In addition to his work with the Gilbert Group, Dennis serves as the co-founder and chairman of the Professional Baseball Scouts Foundation, and he's also a special assistant to the Chicago White Sox owner, chairman Jerry Reinsdorf. Thanks so much. Before we jump into insurance trends and topics, you were a minor league baseball player.
Not a very good one.
How far did you get?
I got it far enough to where they said I got released not once or twice, but 3 times.
In what chain?
First it was the Red Sox chain, then the Mets chain, and finally in the Mexican League.
All right. Why didn't you make it? What held you back? You were very fast.
And I could hit. In fact, I was known as a 3-tool player at the time.
3 tools.
Yeah, I could hit and I could run and I could talk.
What couldn't you do?
I didn't throw or field very well. So you have to catch the ball before.
Well, today you'd be a DH.
Yeah, but they didn't have that in those days.
Do you think you'd have made it as a DH?
I think I would have made it as a player today. When I played, there were only 8 teams in each league and very few minor league clubs. And there were a lot of people. I mean, we had a lot of bodies in our camps. So people, whether they hit or whether they did well, I compare myself to some of the players today. I thought I would have been as good or better than some of them.
Go Gilbert, right? Give me a little history. How did you get into insurance and then into baseball and then doing both?
I was coaching baseball over at Los Angeles City College. And what had happened was the first baseman's father would come to practice all the time, and he's driving a Cadillac and I was driving a Dodge van. And one day I asked him, "What do you do?" And he said, "I sell insurance." And I go, "What's that?" And he said, "Come have lunch with me." And that's how I got into the insurance business.
And then kept being an agent?
No, I wasn't an agent at all at that time. I became an agent about 8 or 9 years later.
What took you into that?
2 of my former teammates were Brett brothers. One was John Brett, one was Ken Brett. And their brother, Bobby Brett, they were all insurance clients, as well as George Brett. And one day, George called me up and said, "My brother's having trouble with Ewing Kauffman," who was, at that point was the owner of the Kansas City Royals, and he asked if I could help out with his contract. And I said, "Sure."
That started.
That started it.
Happy Bobby Bonilla Day!
Yay! Today is the day the Mets paid their oldest player. He is 53 years old, and he doesn't even suit up anymore.
The Mets paid Bobby Bonilla more than $1 million today. Does that make any sense?
July 1st is National Bobby Bonilla Day. $1,193,248, and don't forget the 20 cents.
They wanted to use the money so they could sign other players and become more competitive. I remember presenting it to Bonilla in the very beginning because we talked about deferring money.
How about I don't pay you the millions of dollars, the $3 million I owe you now. I'll pay it to you in 15 years. We'll negotiate an interest rate, but I'd like to have that $3 million on hand to do something else with it.
Bobby got it, and he liked the idea of deferring money. He saw it as a win-win.
You're still involved with Major League Baseball.
I am.
You work with the White Sox in what capacity? You're a busy guy.
I am.
What do you do for Jerry Reinsdorf?
Anything Jerry wants me to do. I consult mostly, do a little bit of scouting, a little bit of negotiating contracts, a little bit of analysis on player contracts. And from time to time, I'll look at a player and just give opinions on trades.
From Los Angeles, California, this is an MLB Network special presentation, the 13th annual In the Spirit of the Game celebration, benefiting the Professional Baseball Scouts Foundation.
After selling his sports agency, he joined the White Sox with the official title of Special Assistant to the Chairman. But he really is not an assistant to the chairman. He's really a partner of the chairman. Everything that we do, every time I have a hard decision, it's discussed with Dennis. And most of the time, I end up listening to him. But Dennis is not only a great baseball man, he's really a better human being. He's the one person I know who is constantly helping people. He's always looking for somebody to help. The most important thing that Dennis did was create the Professional Baseball Scouts Foundation. He's created a phenomenal organization. It's done phenomenal work. And I'm just proud to know Dennis and to be his partner. So, Dennis, please come out and accept your award.
This all started 14 years ago when I got a call from John Young telling me about a scout. He lost his medical benefits and ended up needing emergency surgery, and unfortunately, he passed away in the operating room. I was told his family didn't even have enough money to bury him. I called everyone in the team's front office for help, but got passed around, so I ended up writing a personal check. Fortuitously, at the winter meetings in Nashville, one of our scouts, White Sox scouts, Dave Yoakum, and baseball icon Roland Heeman started telling me about a few other scouts that had fallen on hard times. Right there and then on a napkin at the Opryland Hotel, we wrote up the idea for the Professional Baseball Scouts Foundation. Now, with your support over 13 years, this foundation has done some great things. First and foremost, we cover COBRA expenses for terminated scouts without asking them to qualify. We've also been there to save some scouts' homes from foreclosure, helping with medical expenses, pay their rent, make mortgage payments for them, help their families that didn't have life insurance by paying for funerals and hospice care. Now I'd like to recognize one of the people who introduced me, Jerry Reinsdorf. He's been our largest contributor every single year for 13 years. A separate thank you to my wife, Cindy, my daughters, Ashley, Shannon, and Haley. And lastly, I want to thank each and every waiter here tonight because I just found out we're going to need separate checks. God bless everybody, and thanks for being here.
Welcome back. If you've been around Major League Baseball long enough, you have heard of, if not know personally, Dennis Gilbert, who currently works as a special assistant with the White Sox with Jerry Reinsdorf. Dennis's life and career in baseball began as a minor league player, and though he moved on to different walks of life, his love for the game never abated. He not only has been around the game, he has benefited or has worked to benefit the game and some of the scouts that have populated our workforce for a long time. He founded one of the most prestigious sports agencies in baseball, and for the last 17 years headed up the Pro Baseball Scouts Foundation, which has just been absorbed or joined forces with the baseball assistance team. And we'll get to that in a moment, but we say good morning to Dennis. Gogo, it's good to see you.
Eddie, thanks. It's great to see you too.
I know that your relationship with the game is long and deep, and I just want to maybe take you back to when you started the Pro Baseball Scouts Foundation, and what about scouting piqued your curiosity as a young man?
Oh, when I was a kid growing up, I played in the sandlots with guys like Bob Watson, Doc Ellis, Bobby Tolan, and we got so excited when a scout would show up, when somebody like Tommy Lasorda was then scouting, or Bob Zuck or Rosie Gilhausen. They would come up to us, show us how to swing a bat, tell us that if we wanted to be big leaguers, the kind of things that we would have to do. And I was always just enthralled with being a scout and what they did and how they were trying to help young people like myself.
I grew up in South Central LA, where the mode of transportation at that time was a stretcher. My sport of choice was baseball, it still is. Played a little pro ball with the Red Sox, met organizations. I always thought I'd be a major league player and just fell a little short. When I was an agent, I worked with some of the most interesting personalities in baseball. Bobby Bonilla, when I did the contract, was the highest paid player in the game. They set up deferred compensation. I learned all that from being in the insurance business. We had Jose Canseco the year he did his 40-40, and Barry Bonds when he went from the Pirates to the Giants. I mean, those were historical. I had a very, very good run of it, a lot of fun, and there was a time it ended, and it was the right time. Baseball just can't be a sport or a game, it's got to be a way of life. We grew up on a baseball field that didn't have grass, that in right center field, they had a water fountain. If there's a fly ball out there, you had to play the water fountain. So I built a stadium for RBI, which stands for Reviving Baseball in the Inner City. And they have different leagues, they have tournaments there. It's really the only nice field in the whole vicinity. And this was a way to give back. I think you learn a lot growing up in the game. Every player is different. And I think that's one of the most important things about any business you do, is you treat everybody as an individual. They all came from different backgrounds, different education, different parents, and you have to be sensitive to everybody's needs.